This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the twice weekly Clear Lines training session. I'm your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Tuesday, the 5th of February, 2019. Here for the next hour to cover the Clear Lines trading indicator running on the Medved platform. If you have any specific questions about Clear Lines or the Medved platform, this is where you come to ask. This is your venue. This session is Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock Eastern. It is recorded. If you happen to miss one of my sessions and you want to watch it later, or you want to re-watch this session, you can just go to our Equity-Alerts website and then go to where you see the YouTube link. That will take you to our YouTube page, and you will see our recorded sessions posted here with a brief description of that session. This afternoon, I didn't really have a specific subject to cover. I wanted this session to be more Q&A in nature, or driven from your questions. Basically, if you have there's something you need help with, or have a question about, or want me to cover again, I wanted to focus on that today. I like these sessions being driven by your questions. I think, and I'm still kind of working the details out, I think one session will be driven by a specific subject, and then another one will be more Q&A driven, but we'll see. This session will continue indefinitely, twice weekly. I do have it live in the market in case there's something in the charts that you want to watch while the market's moving. So I think it makes for better training, especially when it comes to placing orders. So we can, I can show you how to do all of that as well. At this point, are there any specific questions? Right now, you're looking at one of my own custom layouts. It is a 2-chart layout. The Medved platform utilizes 2 different types of charts, a intraday or minute chart, and a historical or day, week, and monthly chart. Actually, it does even quarterly and yearly as well, if you want to see that kind of data. But for those of you that were former Wise traders, day, week, and month, that's your long, mid, and short-term trend. And that's what we're used to using. One of the advantages to using the Medved platform is that we can look back further in time than the old Wise Trade. Wise Trade limited us to about 2 years of history. On this platform, you're limited by the history of the specific stock you're looking at. So here on Apple, you can see I can go all the way back to 1993 on my charts, just by scrolling this bar. So I can look at, how would you have liked to have been loaded up back in under $1 on Apple? That would have been amazing. I'm sure that's split adjusted many times. So quick view, we look at our long downtrending, although it's just converting back to green. The week, which is moving up the last several weeks, and that's why the month has just gone back to green. And then our daily chart, obviously the last several weeks has been an uptrend. Here's an intraday, currently looking at a 3-minute. We just got a fresh cross down with a red arrow. The red arrow does not lock in until the interval completes. So theoretically, this 3-minute could go away until that interval is done. The easiest way to tell how much time is left in the interval is go to View, Options, and then there's a candle countdown clock, and you can see it'll show you. Oh, actually, we just locked in. We just locked in, so that arrow has completed. It is locked in. It will not change. But that clock candle countdown will tell you what time frame you're on, 3-minute, and how much is left in this current 3-minute time frame. That's another really neat feature that I like. So you can kind of cruise through, look at a 1-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute. Actually, you got a fresh arrow on a 5-minute as well. And if you want a custom time frame, you can select any time frame. 2-minute. If you want a half-minute, you can do a half-minute, which is 0.5, which is something you could not do on WiseTrade, was fractional minutes. Probably good to shorten the number of intervals, maybe to 50. Half-minute's kind of hard to trade off of. But let's go through the process of putting in an order. So let's say we see this fresh cross, we want to short. So we have a market order. We select our number of shares. Let's do 200. You can also do that from the trade button. You can select from here the number of shares. You can hit buy or sell. Since we're shorting, we're selling. And then we're doing a market order. So we hit the check button, that sends the market order. And then you can see we're filled. We got a notification on the capsule filled, and our current P&L, which is down about 4 pennies for our $6.03. Now we don't currently have our candlesticks up. If we want to show candles, we can select hide primary chart or unselect it, and that will put the candles behind. Depends if you like to use that or not. If you're going to draw Fibonacci levels on a 15-minute time frame, you're going to need candlesticks to be able to draw Fibonacci. So this would be our first 15. Hold on. Okay, I wanted to make sure that stuck to the right spot. So interestingly, when you look at that first 15, and let's go back to a 3-minute, and let's look at the current day only. You'll notice that this morning we reversed at the 127. Ran up to the 127, reversed, went down to the 786, bounced, went up to the 100 line, reversed, went down to the 618, bounced, went up to the 786, reversed, ripped down all the way to the 236, and we hit a fib level, which is, what level is that? I'm having a hard time reading it. Support 1, R1, resistance 1. I think that's R1. Let me go to a different time frame. I can't see because the fib levels are in the way. If that's R2, this is probably R1. Yeah, that should be R1. Resistance 1. So it came right down. You had a confluence of resistance 1 and the 236 of the first 15. Clear lines cross back up, runs all the way back up to R2 and the 100 line, which is the first 15-minute high, back down to the 786. And then here we are, started to go back up towards R2 and the 100, didn't quite get there, and then rolled back down. We caught that fresh 3-minute just a couple minutes back, and now we're kind of bouncing around. Markets have been a little choppy this afternoon, but now we're starting to move a little bit lower here. So as far as our stop loss, we can use a couple of different factors. We can, we can kind of gauge where we think it might be going. So to do that, I use volume weighted average price. I use that as a point of reference to figure out where it might be going. And actually, we're pretty close to volume weighted average price. So it actually needs, if it gets through it, we'll probably have to use the fib levels as targets, since we're right on VWAP. Could bounce off of VWAP here too, but if it gets through it, it should accelerate lower. I would say our first potential target would be 173.60s, which is this 618. And then we have 173.40. So from our entry point, we have about a 40-cent initial target and a 65-cent secondary target. So stop-wise, I would want to be either above this little peak here, or to put myself out of harm's way, just above that 100 and the R2. So to put in my stop, now normally I have 2 different minute intervals, but since I'm running off of 1, I have to click stop here to switch the order type, then click buy since we're short, and then I'm going to select my stop at 174.56. So I'm risking 50 cents on the upper end right now. Probably a little deeper than I'd want to be. But if it can get down to the 50% or the 382 fib level, then I'd say it's justifiable, because at this level, I've got 66 cents of profit potential. At this level, I've got, what is that, 90 cents potential profit. So almost 1 to 2 risk to reward. This is pretty much a 1 to 1 risk to reward. If it gets here, I'm a little upside down. Now, if it gets all the way down to here, then I'm doing really good. Then I'm risking 50 to make $1.20. So better than 1 to 2 risk to reward. Of course, right now we're dealing with the last hour of the trading day, along with a market that's really not moving a whole lot right now. So it may not do much, but I just wanted to do something just to show you guys at least the process of putting in a trade, managing the trade, and doing it, watching the charts. So you can see our 3 minute, which we had a down arrow, now we're getting an up arrow. And that's because we've kind of gone into a channel. Not what we wanted to see right now. Definitely not what we want to see. All right, again, if there's any specific questions that you guys have, again, this session is for me to help you. If there's something you're wanting to learn about the platform, something, I know I got a couple newbies in here. If there's, how to set something up, how to change something, don't hesitate to ask. Send that through the chat box, and I'll be happy to go over it. The Medved platform does integrate to multiple brokers. You can access multiple brokerage accounts just by going to the trading button and selecting whichever accounts you've logged into. So you can see I have 2 different TD Ameritrade accounts. I have a MB Trading options account, and I have Ally Invest accounts for MB Trading as well. And I can access any of those accounts through the platform. I know, Bruce, you had emailed me, you had some questions about paper trading, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, there is a way that you can paper trade. It's going to be a little more complex, but I do know that Interactive Brokers does offer a demo account. So one of your accounts, you would have to have a secondary brokerage account with Interactive Brokers, and then you could use that, set up one of their demo accounts and use that to paper trade out of. The only other way to technically do it, unfortunately, is you'll have to actually make live trades, but you could do it with 1 share or 10 shares. You can, it's live trading, but you can trade real small is one other method to technically practice your trades. Not the most practical method, but it is a method. You'll have to pay commissions, so you'll be a little more careful, and it'll actually make it more realistic by doing that. But that is an option as well, is just to trade real small positions, 10 shares or 50 shares or 20 shares or whatever you're comfortable with, knowing that, if it goes $1 against you and you're trading 10 shares, all right, you're only down $10. You're not down 100 or 1,000. All right, I'm getting some questions, thankfully. James writes in, or Jimmy, hey Jimmy. Kipp, can you show where you went to get the VWAP and the Fib? Yes. So to add any indicator on a chart, okay, you can either right click on the chart, there's an add edit indicators, or at the top of a chart where it says main, there's the indicator button. You can click that as well, and that'll open up this window. And then from here, you just go down the list on the left side, and when you find volume weighted average price, highlight it. There's a little arrow here, or you can grab it with your mouse, drop and drag it over. You can do either or. You can do one way or the other. Drop and drag, or arrow, use the arrows back and forth. That's for adding technical indicators that are available, and they have a pretty heavy list here. There's a lot of them. Now, Fibonacci is going to be a little bit different. So Fibonacci is a drawing. So you go to draw, and then you select Fibonacci retracement. Now, if you have not drawn a fib level yet, there's a couple steps you need to go through first. So the first step is go to your settings, which you get to from the dashboard, and that's this little icon here that's on a chart, or you should have your dashboard, the full dashboard down on the bottom taskbar. Okay. So you can access either one of these. You can also do, I think it's Shift. You can do F12 or Shift F12 on your keyboard. If you do F12, it's going to bring up the mini one. If you do Shift F12, it's going to bring up the full dashboard. The difference is the mini doesn't have this file button and it doesn't have these tabs here. Okay. So once you've brought up the dashboard, go to settings, go under charts and go to Fibonacci values. Make sure you've added in 2618, 300, 361.8, and 423.6. These are the additional Fibonacci levels that we utilize. And without these added in, you won't be able to use it. Once you've done that, then go to a 15-minute chart and let me delete, or whichever time frame you utilize for your fib levels. Select under draw Fibonacci. Now what I've done is I've added that to my quick access toolbar because I use it pretty frequently. So I want it right here. So I select it, so I know it's highlighted. And then I start at the top and I drag my mouse down and release at the bottom of the candle. Now what's going to happen the very first time you do that, you're just going to see this one yellow line. You're going to have to put your mouse over the line. Hold on. And right click until you get this window to pop up, the parameters for Fibonacci levels. You'll need to select extend right, show line percentage, and show line values. Make sure it looks just like this. And you want to make sure you've got the correct values selected: 0, 236, 382, 50, 618, 786, 100, 127, 14140, 1618, 200. Now we're getting into the new ones that we added: 2618, 300, 3618, and 4236. I have mine set to yellow, solid line, and a 2 thickness. Set that as your default, and then click OK. So now moving forward, anytime you draw Fibonacci levels, you'll have that there. To get rid of it, you can either put your mouse over the value and right click and hit X, or you can go up to draw and hit clear. You can either hit the eraser or you can hit clear and go down to click clear Fibonacci retracements. So there's several ways to clear those depending on, this is the other great thing about the platform, is that it gives you multiple ways to do things. There's not just one way. It also makes it can be overwhelming because there's so many ways to do things, but I like it because it's, you know you can either do it from an eraser or from the draw or from clicking, highlighting, putting your mouse till you get the little hand and then right clicking. Joe says, being new, how would you start to set this platform up? Sorry, I just came on board. No, that's all right. So Joe, when you start out, you're gonna have a choice. It's when you first set it up, you should have been given the layout of and I'll show you where it is under the layout library. It should have pre-started up for you with the swing position trade layout. Is that the layout that you have right now, Joe? Did it start up with this layout? Okay. All right, so from this layout, Whoops, where did my indexes go? That's weird. Oh, standard grid. It changed. No, something happened. Why did my indexes disappear? That's weird. Hold on. Huh. I don't think those are the right ones for I think it was SPX.X. Is that right? Yeah, and then NASDAQ is I don't know what happened, why it's not pulling up my Anybody know what the NASDAQ symbol is for TD Ameritrade? It's not COMPQ, it's something else. Something happened. I lost it should have appeared here, but for some reason it's not. Let me restart. Something's not right. Is it COMP for TD? I don't know what happened. Okay, see, now it's acting nutty. COMPX. COMPX. There we go. All right. Yeah, I just had to restart. That's all. So there's something weird. Okay. So your layout's going to look like this. So tell me, what kind of layout do you want to build? And we'll go through that process. And if you need help, by the way, Joe, you can email me, and I don't mind remote connecting and helping you out. But this is a good process. This is good for you to learn. So give me an idea of okay, but do you want a specific, like, do you want your charts to look a certain way? You definitely want a 15-minute time frame if you're going to use Fibonacci levels. Same how I would set up mine. So the way I have my intraday set up, right? How many monitors do you work off of? Just one. Okay. So I'm going to set up a variation of what I have since you only use one monitor. I would encourage you to get a second monitor, or even if you can do either a large one or a cluster. Like if you can get like a 50 or 60 inch monitor, or if you can do a cluster of 4, it's going to help you out. It really is, to have all that, because then you can have different things on different windows. But okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close out a couple of windows. We're going to remove the monthly, the weekly, and the daily charts, okay? Because for what you do, you really don't need that. I'm going to take out the 130. I'm going to put in a 1 minute on the bottom, a 3 minute, and a 15 minute. Okay, and then I'm going to close out this window as well. All right, and then we're going to try to line things up here. Hold on a second. This is kind of the fun part. Trying to get them similar in size. That should be pretty close. All right, so we have a 1 minute, a 3 minute, and a 15 on the bottom. Okay. And then we have, now we're going to go to main, new chart, click where it says new chart, and you want one the same as this one. And we're going to slide that puppy right above it. Okay, so that's going to be another one. We're going to do the same thing here. You're going to go to main, new chart, same as this chart. We're going to slide that puppy right there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the 15 minute. Main, new chart, same as this one. And we're going to slide that puppy right there, and then just inch it up. All right, now your push pins or your link groups should all be blue. We're going to change the bottom row to a different color. We're going to make those green because we don't want those linked to the top group. All right, that way we have one for the top and one for the bottom. So that way you can watch 2 stocks simultaneously. Now, once we've done this, we need to save our layout. So go File, Save Layout, and then type in whatever you want to call that layout. 6 chart layout. Whatever you want to name it, you name it. Okay? 6 chart layout. And then click the Save button. That way you can follow along with 2 different stocks. The top stock is going to be tied to the top 3 charts are going to be tied to your watch list, your upper watch list. The bottom one is just whatever you type in it. So if I want to pull up a different stock, I can just type M. And then you definitely, if you're going to do Fibonacci's, you're going to need price charts. So you can get to that by going to View, Options, where it says Hide Primary Chart. You can just check it or uncheck it. It'll bring it in. View, Options, Hide Primary Chart. Now, if that's something you're going to be using quite a bit, turning on and turning off, I would add it to the quick access toolbar. You can do that by right clicking, and then yours will be yours will be not grayed out. It'll be black. The lettering will be dark. So you can click on it and add it to the quick access toolbar. If your quick access toolbar is up here, okay, what you'll want to do is go to the end where it says show above ribbon and uncheck that. If not, it's going to be way up here, and that's going to be cumbersome and take up space. It's harder to see, so select show below the ribbon. I want it below the ribbon. This is the ribbon right here. You can also hide the ribbon too if you don't want to see that. That you can do by selecting, hold on, this one, show hide ribbon. I keep that up because I do use these quite frequently. So I don't want to hide those. Depends on how much desktop space you have if you're going to use it or not. So once you've done that, then you can add different buttons and features to the quick access toolbar. So you can see, like, I have frequency. I think it's important to have that on your quick access toolbar. That's what allows you to change the time frame real quick. So if you want to go switch from a 1 minute to a 15, or to a 30 or whatever, you can do that. If you need to see a historical chart, all you have to do is right click, and then right here it says historical chart for Apple. And then you can look at the day, week, and the month. See, when you're active trading, you really don't need that unless you feel the necessity to look at that. But you can get to it pretty quickly from a intraday chart. Now you'll notice right now, that it's only showing my stop, but it's not showing my order right now, because I created a new layout, so I need to add that. So under trading, there's a button called trade settings. I need to show positions, and I need to show position P&L. You need to make sure those are checked. That way you'll see, and you do that for whichever charts you want to see that on. So if you want to see it on all the charts, then each chart, you got to go show position, show P&L. Show position, show P&L. Show position, show P&L. Now I'm not going to put it on the 15-minute because it's too much on there. And from when I'm drawing Fibonacci's and doing other things, I don't really need it on every single chart. I just need it on a couple charts, especially since I typically use this as the entry chart and this is the exit. So I always switch on the second window. I switch from market to stop. So I always know enter on the left, exit on the right. And then I can adjust my stops from here or here. Either window I can adjust my stops. So you'll notice when I move my mouse over a window, this box pops up. This is the interval data window. You can move that wherever you want it to appear on the window. So I'm going to move it down because I need to add one other window under View, Options. I need to show quotes. And again, you have to do that for each window you want to show it on. I only need that on one of my windows. I don't need it on all three of these, because this data is the same no matter which chart I'm on. I need it on this chart as well. Again, View, Options, Show Quotes. And then once I've done that, I click the little wheel and I add volume, open, high, and low. Okay, so again, this is the last, the bid, the ask, the change, price, and percentage of volume, and the open, high, low for the day. This is the day's data. Okay, So it doesn't matter which time frame I'm on. This window is considered the interval data. Which is going to be your whatever time, if I put my mouse over the first 15 minute, then I can see what the open, high, low, close, and the volume was for the first 15 minute. As I scroll my mouse, it's going to show me for each 15-minute time frame. Does that make sense? The bottom, this one is interval data. This is day data, quote data. If you remember on your old Wise trade, if you were on a chart, on the upper left side of a chart, you had the bid ask, the last, you had your gain loss, and then you had your P&L there as well. And then down on the bottom, you had another pop-up window when you scrolled across. It gave you the interval data. Okay. Once you've made some additional changes, it's always good if, make sure everything looks good and then resave your layout one more time. So click Save Layout and then go to your, whatever you called it, 6-chart layout, and then click Save again. I'm not going to do it because this one's different. But you want to save it just to make sure you don't lose this setup the way you like it with the show quotes and all that other information. The reason it's good to do that is if you ever accidentally lose in here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Save layout. I'm going to call this test 1. Okay. The reason it's important to do that is if for some reason I accidentally close a window, well, it's not real simple to get that back unless you know what you're doing. So the easiest way is to go to File, Load Layout, and then go to that one we just saved, Test Layout, and now it's going to bring it back. It brings that chart window back. Now the other way I could do it, because I know it was my 3-minute window, so I could go right here to that was my 1 minute, sorry. I could go right here to my 3-minute, and I could go New Chart, same as this chart, slide that one over here, and then just switch it to a 1 minute. Then I know, okay, I just fixed it. But that's only because I know this platform so well. For most of you guys, the easiest thing is just go to File, Load Layout, and then find that specific layout, and then reload it so it brings up your last saved version. Now, for those of you that have multiple monitors, this is important to understand. If you move charts over to a secondary monitor and you have charts on a first and second monitor, you need to make sure you resave that layout. It needs to know that you've resaved it so that when you reopen it, it'll open back up on both monitors. That's an important one. By the way, thankfully we did not get stopped out on Apple. It came close to our stop. It just missed it, and then it rolled back down. So let's go back in. We forgot to redraw our Fibonacci. So again, Joe, to draw Fibonacci, I go click Draw, select the Fibonacci retracement tool, start at the top of my first 15. Hopefully that's the bottom of the first 15. Sometimes it's really hard to see. Hold on. Yeah, see, there we go. Now it's snapped to it. Sometimes it's good to blow it up the chart, full screen. You want to use the middle, maximize, and then the middle to bring it back in. Don't use the X, don't use this minimize, it'll put it down. If you click this one down here, it's going to throw it down to the bottom. And that confuses some people. They're like, where's my chart? It's down on the taskbar, down by the taskbar. Our Apple's starting to move back into profit, by the way. I like to use price charts just because I know where the price is. Since our charts are technically pressure charts, I prefer to keep them overlaid behind it. That way I can see kind of a little bit better. So let's go back in. We forgot we need to add VWAP. So we're going to put that on our 5 minutes because that's where I like to look at it from. So main indicator, volume weighted average price. We need that here, and we need that on this one. Actually prefer that it's blue. And I'm going to thicken it to a 1 and set that as default. Same I'm going to do here. Whoops. Blue and a 1. Okay, so now I have my VWAP. And then if I want to add any other indicator, like on a 1 minute, I like using parabolic stop and reverse. So I can add that here. PSAR. And click OK. And then I can do that down here. All right, so now we have our volume weighted average price, our parabolic stop and reverse. We have our charts set up the way we like it. I'm going to save my layout one more time just to make sure. Test layout 1, overwrite yes. Now when I restart, it should automatically come back to this anyways because it's set up to start back on the last, whatever your last layout was, it should start back on that layout. And everything looks good. I've got my green lights flashing, the flags go up. Our trade's starting to work out. We broke below our VWAP and we broke below the 786, so Apple's starting to work. Now, obviously, there's only 10 minutes left in the trading day. So let's say it's time, we decide it's time to get out. All right, we need to exit our trade. There's a couple of ways we can do that. We can slide our stop loss down manually and adjust it. That's one way. Or if I just need to get the heck out, I can go trading and flatten. Hit that button. And it's going to say confirm flattening position. Do you want to flatten the position? And then as soon as you hit that puppy, it's going to exit the trade and it's going to cancel out any open orders. So you'll see the stop, you'll see this exit and you'll see the stop loss go away. Ready? 1, 2, 3, bink, bink. So closed at 173.92. and we canceled out the stop loss. I actually love this feature because when things are moving fast and you need to get out and get out now, you want to be able to hit that button. You want to be able to get the heck out of Dodge. You also have the option to reverse the position. There's that button as well. If you want to turn, if you're like, man, I should turn around and go long, you can hit reverse. Does the flatten button work when trading options? I don't know the answer to that question. Let me see. Hold on. I just pinged the Medved guys, see if I can get an answer from them. Good question, though. I did not know that, if that works or not. The only thing about options, though, you know, the problem with options is the spreads. You're probably better off putting a limit in because you might be able to cut the bid and ask. But I guess if you got to just get out, that it would be a good method. Just to get the heck out of Dodge. We've got just a few more minutes to go. Is there some other feature that that you'd like to see before the end of the day that I could show you? Look at that. Apple's still going down. Any other feature I can share? And Jimmy, if I don't get the answer by the end of the show, when I get the answer, I'll email you or text it to you, one or the other. So one other thing I do want to stress for those of you that are new, you know, I pride myself on my level of support that I give to you guys. I mean, it's important for me to provide a high level of support because this is a different platform and it's a little bit different of a learning curve. And you know, I like to utilize the TeamViewer platform, but like I had someone earlier that had messaged me. He had sent me a text because he had lost one of his windows. And all I did was I said, text me back your TeamViewer ID and your password. And I didn't even have to pick up the phone. I was able to remote into his computer and fix the issue, which it turned out it was just minimized. You know, he had one of his windows, it was down here and he didn't see it. So I was like, fixed it. But it's real quick for me just to log in and do that. So I want you to know, obviously, I don't mind picking up the phone and calling you and helping you out by phone. 100%. Anytime you need that support, I'm here for that. But if you've got something real simple and easy, I also don't mind if you drop me a text because I can do that, believe it or not, while I'm on my webinar. I can actually, from my laptop, remote into your computer and look at it and try to figure out what's going on. So please realize that if you need that assistance, I'm happy to give it. whether it's through email or phone call or text message or whatever. Morse code, beep, 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 beep. No, not Morse. Or in this session, I mean, that's really what this session is, to teach you guys as much as I can. But I don't mind if you need one-on-one, if you need some assistance on something. You know, I'm here to support my product. That's why you pay me a monthly fee, so I can support my product and help you out. Okay. And you know, I want you to be lifelong customers. And to me, I know Wise Trade, that was one of the things that we did well. We gave a very high level of support. And I believe in that. I believe that as a service related business, you have to provide your clients with a high level of support. If you want to keep them, you have to. And that's important, very important to me. So just know you can reach me by email, kipp@equity-alerts.com. You all should have my cell phone number. If you don't, let me know. I'm happy to give it to you. You can text me, you can call me, whatever you need help with, I'm here for you. Speaking of email, so here's my, just in case, here's my email, kipp@equity-alerts.com. I'm going to post it in here again. You can text me, 972-841-8886, or call me. Text or call. And you can reach me here in this webinar twice a week. Or if you're a subscriber to Equity Alerts, you can get me there. I'm accessible. I'm not going to say 24/7, but pretty much from 6:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, most nights, unless I'm playing cards. And I'll still text you back if I'm playing cards. I play cards on Mondays and Thursday nights. That's poker. Again, you can also go to equity-alerts.com if you need additional information. There's Clearline's information here. If you have not subscribed yet and you're interested, you can subscribe here month to month or yearly, or if you want to add in the alerts. It's $59 a month for Clearlines only, $129 a month for the combo of the two. And then if you do the annual, it's the baker's dozen. So you get a free month. And again, you can also go to our YouTube page. It's right here where all of my training sessions from here get posted to YouTube. I don't want any of you to feel like you don't understand the platform. It's my goal is to make sure you all get it and understand it, and if there's something you don't be shy. There's never a dumb question. All right, guys. It is about that time of the day. It's almost the top of the hour. Markets are closing here in about 30 seconds. I don't see any more questions. What time did the webinar start, Connie? So we're in the chat. We go into the Equity Alerts chat room at about 6:30 Central Time. That's what time I go in. Jim is usually in about that time, and there's usually a couple people. Most everybody steps in a little bit before 9 o'clock Eastern. That starts about 10-15 minutes before they start coming in. And then I start my broadcast at 9. Lindsay, the Metacat kid, he usually pops in about 15 or 20 minutes early. He'll just chit-chat, talk about a few things until I come on, and then we go to market close. And then usually Lindsay will be in there a little bit after the market closed as well. Hold on one second. But yeah, we're there all day, and we have a good time. It was a decent day. I know we had some traders that did pretty well. All right. Again, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see some of you guys in the morning. The rest of y'all I'll see on Thursday, those of you that come back and join me. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.